So in this video, we're going to talk about how to analyze redox reactions to figure out what gets oxidized, what gets reduced, what does the oxidizing, and what does the reducing. So just to recap, what is oxidation and reduction? Oxidation is the loss of electrons, so the charge increases, and reduction is the gain of electrons and the charge decreases. So what we're going to do is look at a reaction, and the first thing to do is to go through, and you have to figure out the oxidation numbers for everything in your reaction. So I always write the numbers just right above each element. Okay, so we've done that. So carbon is 0, oxygen is -2, hydrogen is +1, sulfur is +6, and then etc. So put all the numbers in, and then you're going to look for the ones that change. If their number does not change, so for example, hydrogen is +1 over here, and it's +1 in water. Hydrogen doesn't change. Nothing happens to hydrogen, so we don't even talk about hydrogen. We just look for the ones that are changing. So carbon is going from 0 on the left to +4 on the right. So carbon is losing electrons, so carbon is getting oxidized. Okay, so carbon goes from 0 to +4, it's losing electrons. You can label it a couple different ways. Sulfur is going from +6 to +4, so its charge is going down, so sulfur is gaining electrons and sulfur is getting reduced. So the number went down and that's reduced. So what we're going to do on these is pause the video, go through, label all your numbers, figure out what elements get oxidized, what elements get reduced, and then don't just guess. Figure out the numbers and work it out, and then start the video back up and check and see how you did. So for this first reaction, we've got all the numbers in there. HNO3, HI, NO, I2. Don't forget that I2 is elemental, so the oxidation number is 0, and then we have water. So iodide goes from -1 in HI over to 0. And nitrogen goes from +5 in HNO3 to +2 in NO, so it gets reduced. So another way to think about oxidation and reduction is what does the oxidizing and what does the reducing. And the easy way to remember that is the oxidizing agent is the element that gets reduced, because as it gets reduced, it has to oxidize something else. And likewise, the reducing agent is the element that gets oxidized. So here again, we're going to look at these reactions. These reactions are really simple. They're all the formulas are all a little bit less complicated. So we've got lithium and sulfur, both with 0 oxidation states, and then they combine to make lithium sulfide. Lithium gets a charge of +1, sulfur's charge is -2, so sulfur gains electrons, so sulfur gets reduced, so sulfur is the oxidizing agent. Okay, sulfur charge goes down, sulfur is reduced, sulfur is the oxidizing agent because it reduces something else. Sorry, it gets reduced, so it oxidizes something else. Okay? Lithium gets oxidized, lithium is the reducing agent. Sulfur gets reduced, sulfur is the oxidizing agent. So again, for the rest of these, pause the video, go through, try to figure them out yourself, and then start it back up and see how you did. So again, only pay attention to the elements that change. So for example, in this one, chlorine is -1 on the left. Chlorine does change. Sodium does not change. Sodium is +1. It's also +1 over here. It is not oxidized or reduced. It is not the oxidizing agent or the reducing agent.